Hey guys, it's Chevy Sargent here, and today I'm going to be making a video regarding how to use an OBD2 scanner. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail and ranting like a lot of YouTube videos do. I'm going to keep it cut and dry, and then I'll go into some more detail at the end of the video. So for those of you that just want to learn how to use one, get out and go, you can do that. But if you want to stick around for some more information regarding other types of scanners, we'll be touching on that slightly towards the end. So most OBD2 scanners you're going to find are this style. These work for most cars. Obviously your car has to be of a certain age. I think sometime in the 90s. I want to say like around 96 or 98. Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't remember the exact year, but all cars were mandated to have the onboard diagnostics 2 versus the prior OBD1. So if your car is OBD1, I won't be covering that today. But for most vehicles after, the 90s, they will have an OBD2 port allowing you to scan your check engine light. Some will allow you to scan more in-depth things like ABS and traction control, whatever other lights you have. But today we're just going to be covering the simple diagnostic scan tool. So this is one of the OBD2 scan tools you can get at like Harbor Freight or AutoZone, O'Reilly, whatever place that sells car parts and tools, whatnot. You can find these relatively cheap, made in China, Amazon, anywhere. Pretty basic. They don't tell you anything except for the codes. Really simple to use. They're effective. Now, these ones require a little more work when it comes to finding out the code, as far as like the code means. So really, the way you use these is you find first thing you do is locate your OBD2 port. So this is an 03 Impala. So it's going to be located below the dash. Most are located below the dash. So mine, as you can see, it's located right there. It's a little port. Sometimes they'll have a cap on them. Sometimes they'll have like a little compartment hiding them. Usually they're located on the left side or towards center. This one happens to be located on the right side underneath the dash. So you never want to have your key on when you connect this. The first thing you want to do is you want to have the car off, no key in ignition. Take your scan tool and matches. Connect it to your port. Scan tool is connected. As you can see, it's already got power. Your OBD2 port should be powered up. If it doesn't come on, that could mean you have a blown fuse. Typically, the accessory or cigarette lighter fuse controls the OBD2 port. This car does have a check engine light, so it'd be a great example for showing you codes. Next thing you want to do after having your scanner plugged in, put the key in ignition, turn it to the on position. You don't have to start the vehicle, but you want to turn it to the on position, and then you'll see all of your lights will pop on. Some will clear off, some cars, but this is usually like a test. Shows you what the lights are on. Okay, so now once your key is on, scanner's connected, you want to go ahead and click the enter button. So it says read DTC 5. I'm just going to hit enter again. I'm going to hit enter again, so it's showing me the first DTC. So it says faults 3, pending 2. So it has 3 current faults and 2 pending faults. I'm going to enter again. Okay. Enter one more time. Okay. Alright, so get to this screen. Alright. So once you get to the fault pending screen, some of them might vary a little bit. You can go ahead and hit the scroll tool. So it says there's one. This is 1 of 5. So the first code here, that's showing, the last one said NA. The first one that's going to show me is P0171. So if this is concerning, if you have a code similar to this, what you do is once you find your code, you want to write this code down and punch it into Google, followed by your year, make, and model. So you could just say, or you could just say GM code P0171, meaning if you have Ford code P0171. Some codes vary by vehicle manufacturer, so just type in your manufacturer and then the code number, and it should tell you in Google. So as for using a code scanner, that pretty much sums it up. So once you get your codes, you should be good to go. So just look them up. Google, that should tell you what they are. And that's pretty much it. Some scanners you can delete the codes. Wouldn't recommend doing unless you actually fix what's wrong with it. It can also be illegal in some states, I believe, because if you clear your codes and then were to have it emissions inspected, that's fraudulent. Wouldn't recommend doing that. So unless you are planning on fixing it, I would only use this as a reference to know what's wrong with your vehicle or what's potentially wrong with your vehicle. So as far as using a regular code scanner, that's all you need. Now we're going to move on to a little more, a little something different that other people may be interested in if you're not interested in these cheap scanners that don't tell you much. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the key off, disconnect the scanner. All right. Now, okay, now the next means of scan tool I want to talk about is a Bluetooth wireless scan tool. So this is a Bluetooth OBD2 diagnostics interface. I got this on Amazon. It's like 25 bucks. There's a bunch of different brands out there. You just kind of got to read the reviews, figure out what's good. This one might have been around 30, I think. I've had the cheaper ones. They've went bad. They have even more expensive ones than these, around $100, even $200, depending on what you're looking for. For me, this one works great. So I got this one off Amazon. Now, this pairs up nicely with a tablet. So, whoops, throw it on the ground here. This pairs up nicely with a tablet or even your phone. There's an app out there called Torque Pro, which is what I prefer. There's Torque Lite and there's Torque Pro. Torque Pro has a little bit more features. Torque Lite is free. It's on the Google Play Store. I'm not sure if it's available on iPhone or not, but I know for sure that it's on Android devices. So, same process as a regular OBD2 scanner. With this one, what you would do is you connect it to your vehicle. Same way. You turn the key on. And then you want to come over to another device. So in this case, I'm using a tablet. So I have Torque Pro here. So this tablet's pretty grungy. I use it in my truck as a gauge cluster. All right. So this is Torque Pro. This is what it looks like when it's connected to the vehicle. Right now, obviously it's showing there's no data for the RPMs. This one I can actually run the vehicle with it connected. So I can start the vehicle up. It should show me RPMs. So now it's showing me the RPMs. Now say you just got your OBD2 adapter and you want to connect it to Torque Pro. So you'd go down here to settings. So hit settings again. And you want to go to your OBD2 adapter settings. Connection type, you're going to be using Bluetooth if you have a Bluetooth one. And then you want to choose your Bluetooth device. So it'll show a list of adapters. If it doesn't appear in here, you might have to go in your actual device's Bluetooth settings. So that's going to be different per your device. So like mine, it'd be scanning and it'll show up the OBD2 device. These devices come with settings on how to set them up. So if you're having trouble figuring out, read the manual for whatever OBD2 device you got. But you pretty much go through the settings in Torque Pro and it'll walk you through it. There's other apps out there too, but this is just the one I prefer to use. And the reason I do that is I use it in my LS swapped truck, which doubles as my gauge cluster. So in this case, you can also check your fault codes. So I click fault codes, hit scan. This one's pretty nice because it tells you what the codes are. So this one tells me I have an O2 sensor heater circuit, bank 1 sensor 2, and then I have a system 2 lean on bank 1 and cooling fan 1 control circuit. So I have 3 codes that are current, still scanning, might show up more, might not. So those are similar codes what we've seen on the other scanner. What's really nice about this tablet, or well, in Torque Pro in general, is that you can go in here and actually search the codes. So let me connect this to Wi-Fi here. Okay, so now I'm connected to Wi-Fi. Now, not only does it tell you a description of what the code is already, now say I didn't know what the cooling fan control circuit code was about. So I'm going to go ahead and click this code. So this kind of takes out you having to look it up on Google. So it says you click on it, gives you the option for web lookup, so it does it for you. So it's going to bring you over to the website here. If I can get this thing to focus. Alright. So sometimes it doesn't have an answer for what the code is. In this case it did. P0480 engine coolant blower motor circuit malfunction. So wiring or engine coolant blower motor ECM. So that's what the probable cause is. It shows you what the fault location is. Tells you it's the engine coolant blower motor 1 circuit malfunction. So it tells you kind of some of the symptoms, causes, defective cooling fans, etc. Here's the symptoms: erratic engine operating temperatures, troubleshooting information. It's just a whole slew of information. So I really like using Torque Pro and the wireless scanner option. Like I said, this app you can put on your phone, any Android tablet. Not sure about Apple devices. This tablet I picked up for $100 on Amazon. It's just a cheap, no-name, made in China tablet. I don't use it for anything other than a scanner, so it works great. Now also say you want to have gauges, maybe your gauges quit working in your car. So I can go in here to my real-time information. This is how I have mine set up for my truck. So try to see through the glare here. Shows you my RPMs, my voltage, the alternator sitting at, coolant temperature 177.8 degrees so far, oil pressure says -16. This is because I think either the oil pressure gauge in this car just doesn't work, or it's inaccurate because it's set up for my truck, so it's probably just reading wrong. So you can ignore that one. The MAF tells you the MAF reading. There's a whole other slew of things you can do with this. Oil life percentage, got some information down here. You can add displays. So say I want to add, hold down the screen. So it's a cheap tablet, doesn't always respond. So I can do all these different styles. I can do say I want to do a graph, and I want to do any of these things. Any of these things lit up in green are active sensors. So some of them take a minute to load. Injector pulse. I mean, there's just a whole list of things that you'll probably never need to use, but if you wanted to, it does work great as a diagnostic tool for more advanced people when it comes to things like that. So if this is something you would be interested in, like I said, again, it's Torque Pro. The app looks like this. Like I said, I have Torque Pro, or you can get Torque Lite. I mean, like I said, there's all kinds of things you can do with this. This is just how I use it. So not particular for this vehicle, but it is a good alternative to the El Cheapo Chinese chintzy scanners that don't tell you much at all. So that's all for my video today, guys. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something. If you have any recommendations on how I can improve my videos in the future, let me know in the comments down below. I was thinking about starting to do more tutorial videos since I don't post much on my YouTube anymore. Maybe picking it up. So I might actually make a video regarding this Impala, you know, this old beater that I've been driving around. As you can see, it's pretty high mileage. Anyway, that's all for the video today. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.